Okay. Hi there, I'm Marlene Holmes with Milam and Greene Distillery out of Hill Country in Texas. Blanco, Texas is where our distillery is located. I'm the master distiller. I've been in the business for 35 years. Started out in 1990 with Jim Beam in Kentucky. Spent about 27 years there doing various jobs, anything from running the column stills, the mash cookers, working with the grains and what have you, and working in the rick houses, and just a variety of different jobs over those 27 years. And then had the good fortune in 2018 to meet Marcia Milam, who is the founder of Milam and Greene. So that's who I'm with now, Milam and Greene. And so Marcia Milam is our founder. We've been around. We just celebrated our 9th anniversary this past March. And we've got a couple of little copper pot Vendome stills that we run there in our distillery in Blanco. And so Marcia's our founder, been in the music business for many years there in Austin. Went to Kentucky, did the Bourbon Trail, did a tour, and just fell in love with everything bourbon. Went back home to Texas and decided to get into the whiskey business. The Greene side of the label is Heather Greene. Heather is our master blender. Heather is the architect behind the blends that we have. Heather's been in the business for over 20 years. She worked over in Scotland with Macallan and a variety of different Scotch makers over there. Her palate is fantastic, best blender in the country. And so she's created these blends that we have. And so we've got a great crew of people. Rick Monroe's our distillery manager. Rick's got over a decade in the business and the boots on the ground there in the distillery as far as distilling and bottling and what have you, have over a decade also. So there's a lot of experience. Everything we've got here today that we're going to taste is a medal winner. So I think that's a testament to the experience that's on our team. This one we found out just here in the last couple of weeks has won a double gold medal for us. This is our latest creation that we put out. This one come out in October. It's an 80 proof whiskey, and it's just really fabulous. It is quickly becoming our #1 seller, but it's at 80 proof, very approachable, has a lot of flavor to it, so you're really going to enjoy drinking this one. Even at 80 proof, it'll hold up really nice in a cocktail. We've got a single barrel. This one's at 94 proof. Wine enthusiasts gave it 93 points. This one is real great to sip on. It's generally around a 6-year-old whiskey, and just fabulous to sip on. You'll get a lot of real nice sweet notes and some baking spice and a little bit of spice, citrusy notes will come off of that one. This one is our triple cask. This one right now currently is our #1 seller. So this is 3 different aged whiskeys that we batched together. This one's at 94 proof also. This one received 93 points from Wine Enthusiasts also, a double gold medal winner for us as well. So this one's great in a cocktail. It'll shine through in a cocktail. So it is a really nice one, again, if you just want to sip on it or use it in a cocktail. But in our mash bill, going back a little bit to our mash bill is 70% corn, 22% malted rye, and the balance then being 8% of the malted barley. And the cool thing about that recipe...
Did you say malted rye?
I did.
Can you talk more about that?
Yeah.
Because you don't see a lot of malted rye in American whiskey, or actually in general.
Yeah, that's the unique thing. One of the unique things about our mash bill is from day one for 9 years, we've been malting that rye. And by doing that, it opens that cereal up, allows those flavors, more flavors, and it kind of softens up that rye a little bit. And if you chew on it before it's milled up, that grain, that malted grain, you'll get a little bit of a nuttiness out of it. You'll get a little chocolate notes out of it. So, and those will shine through. You know, I'll hear bartenders and consumers occasionally pick those notes out, and that's that malted rye. Now, it cost us more money to use malted rye, but we elect to do that because of the flavor, and that's what to us it's all about. Any of these bottles that you try, any of these labels are going to be full of a lot of flavor. So that malted rye really shines through. Our recipe also is a sweet mash, and we use 2 different yeast strains that we mingle and batch together to come up with the taste profile that we've got.
Can you talk about sweet mash versus sour mash?
Yeah, so sweet mash basically is grain, water, and yeast. And then on the sour mash side of things, that's where you take, if you've made bread before, you've got to have a little bit of that starter from that last batch to start that next batch. Same way with sour mash whiskey. You take a little bit of that past run or batch of whiskey that you've made, and you use that to help start your next batch. So you'll incorporate that sour, we call it slop or spent stillage. You'll incorporate that in your mash cooker and even in your fermenter too. That'll help go through the fermentation cycle. So that's the difference between the sour mash and the sweet mash. The sweet mash though is really nice. I mean, that mash, once that grain is cooked up and right before you get ready to put it into a fermenter, I mean, it is, the taste is just fabulous. And so that's where it all starts, is with those grains. And you know, the saying is, you put crap in a barrel, you're going to get crap out. So you start with a really good ingredients to start with, and that sweet mash is really special. Not a lot of people do that, and not a lot of people use that malted rye as well. So the next one up would be our rye whiskey. This one is MGP rye. I tell people when it comes through our gate there at the distillery in Texas that it's MGP rye, but when it goes out, it's M&G, because we completely changed that product. We take that rye whiskey, which is a 95% rye whiskey, and we refill port wine barrels. And we let it sit anywhere from 3 or 4 months, maybe up to a year. It just depends on the time of the year that we fill those barrels and how fresh those barrels are. But this one is the most award-winning label we have. Forbes magazine picked it up as the best whiskey in the world. It's a double gold winner. Wine Enthusiast gave it 97 points. But to me, the coolest thing that this one has achieved is the American Craft Spirits Association. There's over 2,000 craft distilleries in this country, and we're a member of that association. In the competition there, this one won best in its category and best in show. So that's your peers that are voting on this. So this one I just love. It surprises a lot of people. The intent here, it's a 94 proof. The intent here is to leave it in those port barrels long enough to just kind of soften up, round the edges off of those peppery, spicy notes of that rye, and give just a little bit of hint of that port cast. And you can see the difference in the color. It even not only picks up some of that flavor, but it picks up some of that color as well. And then we've got our bottled in bond.
Now, before you get to the bottled in bond, can you tell us what port winery, bodega you're getting the barrels from? Or is it through a broker, or do you know?
We don't know. It's through a broker. So it can be, most of them now are on the domestic side that those port barrels are coming from.
Domestic port?
Pardon?
Domestic port?
Yes, domestic port, yes.
Can you talk more about that? Because a lot of people, myself included, understand port as having to come from Porto, from Portugal. You can't just have port from New York.
Yeah, well, that's a question. I don't know that much about port wine. I just know when I got a barrel that comes in, and when I stick my nose in that barrel, if it's going to be a good barrel to refill. I don't know what to tell you, Sam, the answer on that part of it on the domestic
Fair
side.
enough.
But I mean, we've got wineries there in Texas that are making port wine. So the details and how that all works is beyond me. That I don't know. I just know what we do with that rye when we put it in that barrel and then once it comes out. So then too, this is a bottled and bond. This one we just released. It's been about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. So this is our Kentucky juice. So one thing about us, we not only operate those pot stills there in Texas to make our mash bill. I go back to Kentucky a couple of times a year and work with the folks there in Kentucky on those column stills. We generally go up, I go up with the production crew, and I'm in-house while they're making our whiskey for us and help oversee the production of it. And so it is that sweet mash again. It's got that malted rye in it. It's got those 2 different yeast strains. So it's the exact same thing we do in Texas. It's just made on those stills there in Kentucky. And so that's what this bottled and bond is. So this one's really fabulous too. It's bottled at 100 proof. It
And
has
to
to
be
be
able to bottle the bond, you have to disclose the DSP it's coming from, right?
Yes, yes. And so that is out of Bardstown. Yeah. So that's our lineup, all award winning. Again, you know, I think that goes back as a testament to the experience that we have on our crew. We're a very small little boutique operation, very craft oriented. Everything you see here is done by hand. Bottles are cleaned by hand, filled, labeled, and cased by hand. So it's a very, it's like Rick says, we're knob turners. We actually put our hands on those steam valves and those water valves when we're making our product. And so everything is very craft oriented there in our distillery.
Can you talk to us more about bottled and bond?
Yeah, so bottled and bond, that is actually was the first consumer protection law that was on the books, and it was come about, I think, the late 1800s, and it's basically was to keep distillers honest, because there was folks that was putting odd things, tobacco juice and what have you, in their product to give it color or to help give it some taste. So this kind of keeps the distiller honest. So the bottled and bond has to be a 4-year-old whiskey, aged in a bonded rick house, distilled in the same season with the same distiller, and it's got to be bottled at 100 proof.
Now, what is a bonded rick house for those who don't know?
So a bonded rick house is, that's where that whiskey's got to age. You know, you're taxed on that whiskey while it's going through that aging process, but when you bring it out, you know, there's a lot of government paperwork that has to be done to transfer it out of bond and to bring it in once you bottle it and then get ready to ship it. Good deal? Cool.
Good deal.
Thanks.